Alrighty, and we are live. Welcome back for the first time in a couple of days. I've a pretty dodgy internet connection. The last stream ended slightly early because I was dropping lots of frames. One of the joys of having internet that comes through the magic of airwaves in the sky. So I have effectively worked very similar to the mobile network because I'm out quite rural here. But I've continued flying off screen, and we haven't gone too far, but I did land in Kelowna just recently, and that's going to be our flight for today. It's quite a short one. 54 minutes here. We're going to go from Kelowna down to West Kootenay, which is a little regional airport down here. But I like this idea because I can nip across these hills and then I should be able to descend down into this little valley type thing here. I don't know how sheer the cliffs are. I've done some spectacular valley flying up along here and came from Bellacoola earlier, and lovely flight through all these valleys, and it's just been amazing. So hopefully I can recreate some of that for the stream. And we'll come down here and we'll land at little, starred airport. So it's probably going to be a horrific landing. Pretty much every single starred airport that isn't something like, Tacoma International, I imagine would be a pretty good airport. But every single other one I've done has been some pretty, Stewart, Bellacoola. I've done some pretty horrible airports along the way. Dawson City wasn't too bad, although there were some other ones out there that were pretty horrific. But either way, some lovely little airports that we're going to be landing at. I'm enjoying this because we are in a fairly small plane. And you'll notice the colour is different. I have some new liveries, which we've got here. So I'm using which one am I using now? Liveries in front of me there. We're currently using the Canadian Air Force one because we are coming from Kazakhstan up here. So we're going to at least remain in Canada for a little bit longer. And then we'll head south across the border. And that'll be the Canadian Air Force crossing the border for the first time in a little while. Unannounced, most likely. And I've got a few other liveries I can play around when we get to Africa. I've got a nice African one. That's RAF, so if we ever get to Britain and so on and so forth. I've got a Greece one, a New Zealand one, and I am looking for a few others, but there aren't too many out there, unfortunately. So I've got a couple I can play around with, but I thought I'd give it a bit of variety. Now, quick jump over to my semi-infamous spreadsheet over here, just detailing. I think I was going into Stewart for the last one. It might have even been higher up when the stream cut out. I don't recall specifically, but I've done a few more flights, as you can see, totaling up to just over 87 hours in total flight time for this journey. I probably should put a little star next to that one because we are flying a modded DA62. Now let's jump back to the over here. We'll have a quick look at it here. Where are we? That dash there indicates that it has been successfully modded. So I'm flying a modded DA62 from, I believe it's Tommy something or other. I forgot his username. It's a little bit longer, but he's one of the two major DA62 mods out there, and this one fixes a few things internally. It makes a few things more complicated as well. Let's just jump in. We'll continue talking. It makes a few things more complicated as well. There is modeled engine damage, which I have turned off because I don't want to deal with that. But not that I'm pushing the engines too hard anyway. But if you are running at 100% the whole time, you can start getting a worn-out engine, which will lose power and various other things like that. I think you get engine fires, perhaps. I don't really know the specifics. I don't really care to delve into it. But it's a neat little feature for those who like that kind of thing. Weather is looking not ideal, but not terrible. And let's go through some of the features in here. So, the main thing, I'll just turn on a few bits here. I have a whole host of switches on my keyboard there, on my joystick. So we'll head down. Alternator switches do not seem to be working. I'll deal with those later. The main thing I find is that these what do you call them? The power bars are now working correctly. They don't match up to the throttle exactly. So when I'm at 85% power, I'm typically at 86% throttle. But it does mean I can now use this internally from the. It was talking to me. Why was it talking to me? Probably low pressure. Let's start the engines anyway before something goes wrong. Of course, it's not going to start now. Probably turn the alternators off. That might help. Of course, not going to work when we're on stream. It was working earlier. I did a nice little test run. The question is, why is that not starting? That would be absolutely right. It worked perfectly when I was in, what do we got here? Fuel switch on left, master on. I'll turn that master off. Do things a little bit more normally. Joys of streaming with mods. It is now not starting on the left-hand side. I don't know why. I know why. Because I forgot to turn the fuel on. There you go. Again, that went perfectly. Good, good. We got power on the... Coming from the left, fuel pumps are working. I'll turn that one on, turn the master on, and start the right engine as well. Why is the right engine not starting now? Fuel pumps are on. Okay, let's deal with the mod. There we go. Maybe just needed a few button pushes to get it going. Dodgy engine. Either way, things are looking good now. Let's have a quick look at our oil temps, fuel pressures, coolants are good. Excellent. I now have a lean button that's working, and that is the system there. And the electrical now talks more about electrical and oil and engine stuff. So system, I should say. It's got a few more interesting things in there. De-icing fluid is now a thing. The way it handles on the ground is much, much better. The stock plane, stock DA62, handles like an absolute whale. Trying to drive this thing around is just a nightmare. But now I should stop running off the center line quite so much, and when I do, it'll be from user error rather than from a plane that turns worse than a semi-truck. Things are looking good here. I'm pretty much just going to follow the existing line, effectively due east, give or take. We'll see how we're going. Alternator fail. It's on now. That's good. Anyway, these things mean a lot more now. The aircraft is slightly less forgiving than it was before, although by all accounts, it's like very, very forgiving aircraft. Certainly a lot closer modelled. We'll see now we've got somewhat reasonable with the brakes on, but I can show you pushing the throttle up a little bit. See, it starts to model the RPM and the engine power a lot better, so it's a lot more realistic. Anyway, much ado about that. We'll do our walk around of the plane, make sure it's all good, excellent, and done our check. Now let's prepare. Contact. We'll get our ATIS to start with.
Kelowna Airport Information Golf 2300 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility niner. Sky condition clear. Temperature 0. Dew point 10. QNH tree 0.19. ILS Yankee runway 16 in use. Landing and departing runway 16. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact UF Golf.
We've got golf. Okay, let's contact ground.
Airport information Golf 2300 Zulu.
Please stop talking. We're going to be going east.
Kelowna ground BLXC 445 with Golf request taxi to the active departure to the east.
BLXC 445 taxi to and hold short of runway 16 using taxiway Alpha.
16 taxiway Alpha.
119.6 when ready.
It'll be this one in front of us, I guess. Oh, there you go. Even showing. Okay, brakes are off. Just double check. Fucking brake is off. Good. I'm going to start moving forward, and you'll see that this thing handles. Well, you probably won't see it, but it'll certainly feel better on my end. It handles a lot better. And you can watch the power down here on the right. You'll see that it is. Oops, I've gone slightly too far again. You'll see that it is matching my movements of the throttle very, very well.
BLXC 445, please acknowledge.
Yep, acknowledge taxi clearance. Again, I'm a terrible pilot, not a real pilot, but
Taxiing hold short runway 16 via
maybe one day.
taxiway Alpha BLXC 445.
Okay, let's contact tower now, and we want to request takeoff clearance.
Kelowna Tower BLXC 445 at runway 16 ready for departure to the east.
BLXC 445 QNH tree 0.19 wind calm east departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 16.
Okay, and the way runways are numbered, in case anyone wasn't certain, they're numbered by the compass heading, like the actual the degrees you're traveling. So 16 will be taking off that direction there, along runway 16, which is heading. Yes. Heading in 160 degrees, roughly. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. That's not very accurate. Straighten a little bit. Again, I'm still getting used to the much improved handling of this particular plane or mod. Yes. Okay, so we've got fuel pumps on. Everything's looking good. All the other bits and bobs are looking nice. So we're traveling down at roughly runway 16, not too far off. And that would make the opposite then would be runway, I'm guessing 34 or 35 or something like that. It's the same runway, just going in the other direction. So it's an easy way for pilots to be able to tell. But anyway, we're going to be preparing for takeoff here. And then I will eventually slow down the talking. But let's go. Throttle up. Brakes off. Engines have taken. Flaps are down. Everything's good. Lights are on. Probably should have had them on anyway. Speed is looking good. And rotate. Rotate. Come on. There we go. We're off the ground. Landing gear up. Double check that took. Yep, landing gear up. Or going up. Climb rate's a little bit high, flaps can go up. And air traffic control hasn't said anything to us yet. There we go.
Continue for east departure.
Kelowna Tower BLXC 445, continue for east departure.
There you go. A semi-by-the-book takeoff. I'm probably going to want pitot heat on as well, because it is nice and cold outside, although I'm not really imagining too many issues at this point. East. Yep. Don't ever let me pilot an aircraft you're on. Doesn't matter. I'm going to take the scenic route. Have a quick look outside as well. All we're really got to do is just clear a couple of these mountains over there. And then we'll be able to descend in and do a little bit of freeform flying. Oh, that's a bit of... Anyway, I'm going to bring the lever back when I want. As my 4-year-old comes in, I'm going to have to mute this mic for a short bit. I'm going to continue flying east, and I'll probably be quiet until we get to get ourselves to the canyon coming up soon.
BLXC 445, leaving my airspace frequency change approved. BLXC 445, did you hear my last transmission?
Kelowna Tower BLXC 445 frequency change.
Right, now that we're nice and stable, things are up, I'm going to actually put on a little bit of some music that I found online. Oops, what was that? Not that. What we've got here is a little bit of relaxed background lo-fi music, royalty free, so I can let that play without DMCA strike. I'll put that on and we'll just chill out as we're flying along. Let me know if the sound volumes are off as well. Welcome in, Yukon Wilderness. So let me know the volumes are going, the sound levels, and otherwise be sleeping. Take care. Alrighty, I've moved up to 8,000 feet just to test because that's one of the altitudes listed in the flight manual over here. And things are looking pretty good. I've got, what's that, 14.8 gallons per hour usage at 75% engine power. Tried to match something exactly so I can see if the output is correct or not. So we've got over here, I'll pull this up, and we've got 8,000 feet, 75% engine power, appears to be 14.8 across the board. That's gallons per hour. That's for both engines together. We've got here, lost it now. Where was I looking? There, gallons per hour, 7.4 and 7.4. So combined, we've got 14.8 exactly. So I suspect the mod author has pinned in the numbers from the real world manual, which is good. Planes don't necessarily always fly that exact set of parameters, but certainly useful to know one. And our yeah, we're spot on. 165 is what it's predicted here for ISA, and then ISA plus 10 is 167. So it depends on weather and whatnot, and a few other things. There may be a small... it's about that. So it's spot on now. The plane now is performing exactly to specifications, which is a little bit unfortunate because there was a small discrepancy in previous flights, and the plane was actually performing slightly better, especially at higher altitudes, than it should be on paper. So I'll have to test that. We're not going to do that this particular flight because I'm planning on staying quite low, but in future flights I need to fly a little bit higher, and I'll be testing those numbers out as well. It does mean that our range might be ever so slightly compromised, or alternatively it could just be our speed is slightly compromised. So I need to run the engine more in line with how the real plane operates. But either way, I'm pretty happy with how the mod is going so far. Coupled, of course, with lovely Canadian livery of a white with a silvery grey, and of course the Kootenay flag up there, and of course 445 printed over top, because this all this stuff here is actually part of the livery itself, and they said to remove that, but I don't think I could part with my beautiful number or my call sign. Either way, I'll be back to you if something else interesting comes up. And we're approaching our little valley coming up here. It says actually we're on top of this valley. Oh, it was over that hill. Yes, I'm way off. We're going to be heading down this valley here. Well, that one over there is looking quite nice as well. May not travel very far. Anyway, we're going to head off down this river valley and see what we find.
Charlie Yankee, Charlie Golf traffic BLXE 445 is on downwind runway 15. Charlie Golf traffic BLXE 445 is on base runway 15. Charlie Yankee, Charlie Golf traffic BLXC 445 is on final runway 15 to land.
Well, looks like we've made it. We have a nice safe landing. We've come up stopped in the parking spot. Lovely, beautiful flight. Let me know if you guys like that slightly different format with a bit of music and a little bit of low flying river, or in this case, frozen valley flying. Planning on doing a little bit more of that in the future, certainly for my own benefit, but if other people like it, then I will consider streaming it a little bit more. Really depends on, obviously, access to internet and whatnot and time of day. With being a family home, I can only stream at certain times of the day, but planning on doing it when I can. If there's certainly interest, I will try and do it as much as possible. Being on mute allows me to certainly do a lot better. Either way, fuel pumps can go off. I'm going to continue shutting down this plane, and then I might call it an end for it this evening. Apparently this stuff now works as well. I need to, it didn't work in the unmodded version. I need to check that stuff out. These are all the engine control unit tests and whatnot. You can see if the engine's on A or B. You'll feel a small shudder in the real aircraft when it actually does change to the other one. So if, for example, I'm on auto and it was actually running off A, if I flicked up to A, there'd be no reaction. If I flipped down to B, there'd be a small shudder as the engine changed over. Obviously not modeled in this one. But look, beautiful, beautiful mod. It's effectively the same sort of thing, but a few differences that make it just a little bit better when I shut down our engines as well. and call an evening. We were 87% fuel left, so more than sufficient in the end. I just wanted to be absolutely certain that everything was going to work with the mod and there were no issues. Anyway, take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.